Um, so I have three music rooms in our house.
Wow.
There's the
Are
piano
you the only
room.
musician?
No, my son
Okay.
who just turned 10 yesterday. So we have a piano room when you first walked in with just a piano, and then you can bring like there's a guitar most of the time in there. Then we're in the attic, which is like one third my room and one third the kids' playroom, which I've got three synthesizers set up here.
Oh,
I've got
dang.
a I've got an Ableton Push 2 for sequencing and drum tracks and triggering samples and things like that. And then I just run it off a used MacBook Pro that I got a few years ago. And then for the band chamber music in the basement is my live rig, and chamber music, depending on the nature of the gig, I'll use either 2 to 4 keyboards down there. So
Oh
I
my
practice with
gosh.
different live setups in the basement. Yeah, and it's not a big house, so I feel so bad for my wife because basically it's kind of taken over. So
So anytime that you can do it with headphones on, it's just like a blessing.
yes, yeah,
Okay, so it looks like we're live
okay,
on YouTube, so that's going. Let me just check a message from Jeff on Slack to make sure. So Jeff's helping facilitate any questions that come
yep,
in. So hopefully, I'll give you a little bit of background. Is basically what I wrote in that email. It's like we want to do our part to try to make sure that we're putting information out there that's going to be useful, still somewhat entertaining, but really more than anything, it's just like how do we find out how to make an impact immediately with business owners or artists here, and then where can I get information that isn't like big national news information. So thank you so much for deciding to join us.
yeah, thank you.
So we're live with Michael Huber, President and CEO of the Indie Chamber. So if you can go ahead, just kind of we're in a crazy time, and you guys just launched a new rapid response website. So I think that's going to be the most impactful thing for any business owners that we have listening in or wanting to tune in a little bit later today. So talk a little bit about how you guys are handling this whole coronavirus situation here in town.
So no one really knows. I mean, that's so. Let me just say that. So no one really knows where this is going, but um, I think like everybody tuning in, um, kind of watching from a distance until the last couple weeks. I think uh, we a big shift for all of us living in Indianapolis. I guess a week ago yesterday, when the Big Ten men's tournament got canceled, the NCAA men's regional, that you get word like firefighters convention and so many of these things that we depend on getting canceled. And so the first wave that we noticed was definitely the hospitality industry. The hotels running at very low capacity, but then the retail sector, particularly the restaurants, and then service businesses. A lot of not just consumer, but B2B services. Reports of employees getting kind of furloughed, in some cases laid off, businesses shutting their doors, restaurants closing down for what we hope is a temporary period of time. So that got us to Friday, and Friday and over the weekend we were like, and this is my colleagues at Indie Chamber. These are some other board members. These are some like Gary Brackett is a board member.
Mm-hmm.
Gary. It's a tough time to own restaurants. So Gary and others shared some perspectives with us, and we were like, okay, we don't know where this is going, but we know that we can do something to try to meet the needs of service, really businesses in general, but small businesses that are being impacted, and we can meet those needs right now. So what can we do right now? And so we worked on over the weekend. We launched on Monday at 2 o'clock. We launched the Rapid Response Hub. You can find it at response.indiechamber.com. Response.indiechamber.com. You do not have to be an Indie Chamber member to uh, to get value and get services from the hub. It's a site that routes you to the most current information. We thought that was really important because, as you know, Fabian, the information is changing by the hour. We're getting
Yes.
new directives. The governor just had press availability not even 3 hours ago. Announced that schools are going to stay closed till the 1st of May, all that. So we're trying to aggregate that and make it as easy to understand for the business owner on our site. The part that is uh, that we hope will add even more value is the direct services. So you can log if you're having questions of a more complex nature, you can get a response. You can get a response from one of us. You can get a response from faculty and students of the Kelley School of Business that are helping to provide us the ability to kind of flex and build capacity if we get a ton of questions. So sorry for the long explanation, but it's been just 72 hours since we launched the Rapid Response Hub. As of this morning at 7:30, we had received 5,500 hits, and about just under 100 kind of unique, complex responses. But so anyway, we're ultimately what we want to do is take all that knowledge that we're getting from small businesses that are impacted and try to take action in very specific ways. And I could tell you a little more about what we think those actions might be here in the coming days.
And so you said that people are able to respond like very quickly on that. Okay,
Yep.
cool. So I was making sure that this would actually show up on the YouTube page here. So I've got that website pulled up. So how are you guys responding to that? Like, is that going to is that facilitated through like a chat bot, or is that going through like a text to somebody's phone? Or is it like a straight up phone call?
Yeah, not yet. So it's people can navigate the site, submit their question. They'll get literally called back or emailed back if it's something that can be answered via email. Depending on the volume, we may add this additional functionality like chat in the coming days. We decided to get something up fast and start more narrow. I'll tell you early on, the most common questions that we're getting are, should my business stay open? Can I stay open? Can you help me understand between the state directives and the local directives? Does that allow me to my business to maintain hours? I'm thinking about just going part-time. What are resources that my employees can tap?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I'll just, here's the thing. Everybody just needs to stay safe and keep a distance from each other. And the reason I say that is, one of the most common questions that we've gotten in the last 3 days is, I've got an employee who's exhibiting several of the signs of the virus.
Oh, no.
What are my options, and should I stay open? And it's like, wow.
Yeah.
So, and I know I'm stating the obvious, but it's like, this thing is out there, and our kind of posture, our attitude is, let's get everybody safe and let's try to contain the spread of this thing. And then we can think about the recovery. Okay. Cause we can talk, if we have time. There's been so many generous ideas thrown out there about how to support our retail businesses and how to support our restaurants. And those are really, really important. Order takeout every night if you can, but none of it matters if we can't stop the spread of the virus. We have to do that first. I can't even get my head around what a long-term recovery of our local economy looks like until we stop the spread of the thing. And I know that's stating the obvious. I don't want to insult your audience, but that's got to be primary.
Well, and I don't think that you're insulting anybody. And as obvious as it may be, I think that it needs reinforcement. Like there's several, I'm on several text chains right now, and I've still got friends that want to meet up to do stuff. And it's just like, I have to put my foot down and be like, hey man, sorry to be the dad of the group, but like, I am not going to go do this. Right. Like we honestly have to take it as seriously as everybody makes it seem. Even if you're being overly cautious, like let's do that instead of being like not prepared and being like, oh shit, what happened? Like, how did this happen?
Yeah, you just can't take a chance. And it's there's this, I mean, I know that people are being deeply impacted by this too. Everybody's circumstances are different, but there is this sense of, okay, what can I control? What can I actually control today?
Right.
There's all this stuff happening around us that we can't control. We can wax philosophical all day long as to what's this going to mean. Is this going to mean a structural change in the economy, which I think it could, by the way. But none of this matters if we don't just stop the virus here in Indianapolis. Once we stop the virus from spreading, we can get back to work. We can figure out how to grow out of this. Again, sorry to preach, but
No.
It.
I mean, I think that this is what this platform is for right now. And you kind of mentioned something as an aside, but I think that it's very true. And I think once we make it out of this, you're going to see a lot of those blind spots that we had, whether it was government or business, that's going to change the way that things go moving forward. So, I mean, if anything, I would say that you might have that to look forward to. We might have lost Michael Huber on the audio. Maybe. His video is frozen. And we were just getting into a good point. So we'll see if he comes back. For those of you watching on YouTube, probably looks like he just started staring at me, and we're back. All right. Can you hear me?
Sorry about that. Yeah,
No,
sure
it's all
can.
good.
Yeah. So it's raining right now. Getting slow really hard, so sorry about that.
No,
Can you hear me?
Yeah. You're back. Yeah. So I was just making a point about there being blind spots and things hopefully changing after we make it through all this. For the better, both with like business and government. Can you still hear me, Michael?
I sure can. Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay. Yep. Cool. So I mean, it's a scary time for people out there. This has a ripple effect that isn't just like the business owner. So like if you own a restaurant, right, then you have a landlord. So like,
Yep.
how do you navigate those types of questions for people that are reaching out to you for help? Like how closely are you guys in contact, and how often with like the local government that's making rulings like by the minute
Okay.
on this stuff?
Yes, you got a few things going on. So we're trying to get more local loan capital out there. The Indy Chamber as an organization through our different sources has got just under $1 million. Okay. But it's not, these are coming from different sources, and we can't just get a call, make a loan. We're trying to expedite those dollars out. But so if it's under $1 million, if you, for argument's sake, it's like $900,000, that's still what, 90 $10,000 loans. So that could still make a dent in what we're facing. If you saw yesterday, the mayor's office and others are trying to figure out how could we get more, another, 2-5 million more out there, which is not a solution, but I think could buy some of these businesses in time, buy some time for some of these businesses in need. You got another thing going on that was announced last night is the federal government, the Small Business Administration, declared the entire state of Indiana an economic injury disaster relief area. And so the SBA's site is up where the SBA can make loans for impacted firms. And people were hitting the SBA site today. You can just go to our website, response.indychamber.com, and find out how to access those SBA loans. But we're still also I wrote a memo to our members of Congress yesterday afternoon with the help of a couple of my colleagues, Mark Fisher and Aaron Wren, called Big Ideas for Small Business. And it was tossed off in like 2 hours. I'll figure out a way that we can put that up on indychamber.com about ways that the federal government can drive support to small business. One of the things for your your audience to follow is, it'd be very interesting. In these different relief packages that have been proposed by by Congress and the president, and I'm not up on them. I'm not up on what's happened today as we sit here this afternoon, but I personally think some kind of relief or stimulus, both to individuals and businesses, is necessary. You might have some people saying that, well, just give the direct support to individuals, then you don't need to direct support to businesses. I would disagree with that, because what about these businesses that have made big capital investments? What about these restaurants that really make Indianapolis
Right.
by the capital investments that they made? So to answer your question, we're in an effort to try to drive more dollars to small business while we're in this interim time period. But then we're also lobbying our members of Congress and the president's administration through Small Business Administration to unlock more federal funding for small business. Is just so important right now.
Yeah, and really, it's the basis of a lot of what we do here at Drink Culture is talking to those like that direct group of people. So just in terms of like being impactful and how people that are listening can go out there and support, like what can people in our community do right now during this time that's going to help? I know I just got an email from Visit Indy about a T-shirt, and that's going to go help some of our service industry friends as well. But
Yep.
what can people be doing right now?
Yep. So I'm just gonna say this. Uh, First of all, do everything you can to take care of your loved ones, and do everything you can to take care of your situation, because no one knows how long this is going to last. And I can't emphasize enough, just because you asked, Fabian, the need to stop the spread of the virus in our community. Because we're not going to be able to grow out of this until we stop the spread of the virus. Um, Indianapolis is really great for pulling together during a crisis. You saw what you saw what. Can you still hear me, Fabian?
Yep, yep,
Okay,
yep,
great.
yep.
You saw what Jeb Banner came up with yesterday in terms of the Venmo account to drive tips to impacted service workers. So definitely look at that. Order takeout from your favorite restaurants. Buy gift cards from your favorite retailers. Buy gift cards from your favorite restaurants. One of the things we haven't done yet, because it's only been 72 hours since we launched the tool, we'd like to consolidate and then amplify some of these really creative ideas that people have come up with for supporting retail businesses and supporting service workers. And we'll try to do that in the next couple of days. But anything personally that your audience can do to support retail establishments and even support service workers directly who've been impacted by this would be huge. But
Yeah,
stay safe and help us contain the virus, first of all.
yeah. First and foremost, I think that yeah, we probably can't say that enough. It's like take every precaution and be safe. So do you anticipate that and it's hard to tell, right? But like when this pandemic is over, when things kind of normalize, do you anticipate that business will be like different when we make it out of it?
It's too hard for me to predict. All I can share is how this has impacted me and through my narrow lens of the world. Um, so I've been at the Indy Chamber 6.5 years. We have 2,000 members, and 85% of our members are businesses of 50 employees or less. Just for that perspective, I end up working a lot with large companies. I end up working on policy issues, but 85% of our members are small business, and yet. I am thinking now more than ever about the risks that entrepreneurs take, particularly in restaurant industry, retail, services, creative entrepreneurs. The high risks of those ventures in a time like this, because those businesses are vulnerable to these kinds of sweeping government policies. So I think I'm going to think about that segment of small business very differently when this is over. And I also think that the first wave of the impacts of this have been largely toward service workers, hourly service workers who work, who make enough money to stay above public assistance. Many of them are also creatives. Many of them are artists and musicians. I think we will think very differently about that segment of worker when this is over. And it's still so early, so I would be a fool to try to speculate. But those are two very real parts of our local economy that I'm appreciating a lot more right now.
Yeah. Totally agree with what you're saying there. Do you have any advice right now for those business owners, people out there right now that might be freaking out? I know you guys have the rapid response site up, but what else can people be doing right
Yep.
now while taking into consideration safety, of course?
Yep. So 3 practical things. Uh, Check out our site. It may not have all the answers, but check out our site, because it may tell you whether you're eligible for some of this SBA relief, either in local funds that we're trying to increase, or in the federal SBA dollars, resources for your employees if they need to, if you've had to lay off employees, or if you've had to cut back their hours, we may have some ideas for, where they could get some support. Man, sorry, it's all moving really fast.
It's all good.
The Arts Council, I'm just getting this. The Arts Council announced a $225,000 COVID-19 emergency relief fund. That's amazing. It's a combination of philanthropic funders this afternoon. So
wow.
again, and nobody's claiming that these things are going to be the solution to what we're facing, but every bit helps. If these are ways to help our businesses and our organizations live to fight another day, that's what it's all about right now. Check out what the governor put out this afternoon about delaying property tax, the filing of property taxes, and maybe a couple different forms of taxes. It's all happening very fast. But check out what the governor put out, because that may amount to some deferred taxes that you as a business owner could pay, and in order to continue to float your business during these times of uncertainty. The first things that come to mind.
Yeah, I'm trying to look it up so that I can start posting some of this in the like in the chat on YouTube, so people have easy access to it.
Yeah.
So it looks like there are some resources out there for people to start looking to. Safety obviously being first and foremost, because we want to stop the spread of this before it gets too out of control. During this time, what do you're at home, you're working from home. What are you doing to keep calm? What's giving you peace? What's giving you hope right now? That.
Yeah. And my kids, and just time with my kids, and just trying to, our kids are 10, and then just turned 10 yesterday, and then soon to be 7 and 5. And my wife is doing an awesome job kind of being a homeschool teacher, and trying to get myself, my wife, and our kids to understand that this is there's a lot we can't control. This is a historic event, but there are positives that can come out of it if we all stay connected, we stay healthy and help each other. And there are going to be some people struggling. We're doing our small part to try to help the business owners who are struggling to whatever extent we can. It's a small thing, but I think a meaningful thing. If we can stay together as a community and try to look for the silver linings in what this time is offering all of us. Like I said earlier, I'm going to appreciate our local businesses that give Indianapolis so much of a unique quality and character. I'm going to appreciate them a hell of a lot more when we come out of this. What are those things that you all are going to appreciate? Whether you live alone, whether you live with a spouse or partner, whether you've got kids, how can we all use that kind of forced amount of time to our advantage?
Right.
And and I have music too. I mean, I'm very blessed there. But no, thanks for the question. It's just some Naval Ravikant tweeted out. He said I think it was Naval tweeted out earlier.
Who's that?
The famous kind of entrepreneur, kind of philosopher, almost tweeted out today. This may be the first time in his lifetime that the entire world is focused on the same problem.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
From a kind of, ethereal, spiritual standpoint, is there a way that we can all kind of, embrace this as this shared experience. But in the meantime, a lot of businesses are closing their doors and a lot of people are getting laid off. So
yeah, and it's truly a sad thing. And to your point about us all going through this at the same time, I think that the way in which we react to it, and given our own set of skills, I think is really interesting to because it's not all not everybody can provide relief. Not everybody has the money saved up to go support a local business. But I think what's interesting, we decided pretty quickly, it's like, hey, let's have these conversations. Let's put them live on YouTube. Let's just start putting content out there. I've seen the Can just posted something today. They're going to be live streaming Ladybird on Friday, and you can like tune in to watch that collectively, which I think
Yeah.
is really cool. We're going to start tomorrow a digital like happy hour where we just have a discussion on a certain album. So we're going to see what that looks like. But I think that the creativity that is coming through all of this has been really fun to see what people are doing to help everybody out, I suppose.
Yeah. So I know we're not negotiating, Fabian, but if this is one way, if the Indie Chamber could collaborate with Drink Culture to capture some of these stories of really generous and creative things that people in the city are doing, we'll just feed them to you if you want to talk about them,
Yeah.
because you guys have a big audience.
No, absolutely. And one of the things, somebody was texting me today, just they were freaking out, and I said that the hardest thing for me, that the biggest struggle that I found was like just not being around other people, and that has manifested itself in me wanting to have like continue to have these conversations in any way possible.
Yeah.
I was like, how do I keep that human connection? And it's kind of scary where your brain goes to when you have that fear of like, I can't interact with other people.
Yep, totally. And I just applaud what you guys are doing. It's very, it it or through community progress from just a concept to the audience that you built today. So I just appreciate that you guys are taking your kind of your time and energy to tell the community what's going on, let them know what resources are available. And hey, before I forget, so one of our best hip hop artists in Indianapolis, Sirius Black, just dropped a new mixtape today, Godspeed. It's really, really good. So you guys may have been all over that already, but
so funny enough, the whole idea for this digital happy hour thing came, I was like super bored. I threw on Instagram Live and I started listening to music, and Johnny Stamps said, hey, have you listened to that Sirius Black? And I'd actually reposted it on our page. So I just streamed that whole thing live, and we were having conversations about it as it was going on. So
that's cool. Okay, you're all over it.
Yeah, it's I really liked it. That, and then the new Jack Harlow. It's only 17-minute long. EP is really good too.
I'll check it out.
So a couple quick fun questions, and then we'll let you get out of here. Music, movies, or shows that you've had the opportunity to rediscover or discover with your quote unquote more time that you might have.
The Jaco Pastorius documentary, the bass player Jaco Pastorius, it's pretty awesome. It's just called Jaco, Jaco. So that's the last thing that I watched. And then I'll have to think more about books. The Why We're Polarized by Ezra Klein is a good read and a quick read. But I also noticed that I stopped reading it last Wednesday because I think I was getting this input about sort of the national political things. But then when this started last Wednesday, I was like, that was like the limit. So up to last Wednesday, I was reading Why We're Polarized by Ezra Klein, which is good.
All right. So you heard it there. And then this one I found myself, and maybe other people have been posting about this as well, but with a little bit more time and going stir crazy, maybe cabin fever, people have been cleaning up around the house.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've done that, and if you've come across anything that you thought was lost and you found, or just like, how the hell did this get here?
No. Okay. The prison cell workout. The prison cell workout. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. 100 push-ups for time. Doesn't matter how long it takes you. 100 sit-ups for time, and 100 body weight squats for time. And there's just, and I think I told you and Jared, it's like, I didn't exercise consistently until I was 40. I'm 44 now. And so the prison cell workout is the best.
Okay.
100 push-ups for time, 100 sit-ups for time, 100 body weight squats. Doesn't matter. Just do them. You'll feel better.
You have been challenged by Michael Huber. Everybody reach out to us. Post your time. Yeah. Post your time. I'll do it tonight.
Okay.
What's the fastest you've gotten it done?
Yeah, not great. I don't know. It's probably 14, 15 minutes. Not great. Okay. Yeah.
So I just got to do better.
Yeah, I'm working up. Yeah. It's
All right. Michael, thank you so much for joining us. Any last words you want to get out there for people that are paying attention?
Nope, just people. I don't know. People realize Haley Brown and I are from the same small town in Southern Illinois. So shout out to Haley Brown. I'm 20 years older than Haley Brown is, though. But our families know each other, and it's been great to reconnect with someone from my own small town through drink culture. So give my best to Haley. And
She's gonna
again,
love that. Yes.
just thank you guys for using your superpowers for good in a time like this. It's really appreciated by me and by thousands of people. So thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. We love what you're doing. Thank you for putting that website up there. We're going to share that with everybody so that they've got those resources from multiple different places. And then we're going to put this out ASAP. So you can share it. I'll send you the link.
Thanks, Fabian.
Cool. Thanks, Mike.